Flavor Balance Heat, the podcast for hot sauce lovers and makers, is brought to you by Scoville.com. Try Scoville.com's hot sauce subscription box, where you pick the heat, flavor, and food pairings you want in your box. Get 1 or 3 bottles delivered to your door each month. Choose your heat level, flavor profile, and food pairings. And it's completely customizable each month. You no longer have to worry about getting sauces you don't like, won't use. Scoville.com specially curates each month's box based on your personal preferences. And best of all, High Desert Sauce Co., Butterfly Bakery of Vermont, and Irish Spike's unique hot sauces are all available at Scoville.com. Welcome to Flavor Balance Heat, the podcast for hot sauce lovers and makers. I'm Spike.
I think my name is Zach.
And I'm Claire.
And today we're talking to MISHKA SHUBALY and his mom, ELAINE LALONDE. Hello.
What's up, guys?
Hello.
Welcome to the poop show.
That sounds worse. That sounds so much
it
worse.
Sounds a lot worse, yeah.
I was trying to keep it,
Mom
trying
friendly.
to offend mom here,
This is
You're
MISHKA's
good.
mom. Yeah.
She can hang.
I can
Yeah.
interpret.
Well, in that case, welcome to the shit show.
Excellent.
And MISHKA's mom's a legend. I've seen so many stories just of how wonderful you are, and I've been a fan of our sauce for a while, which has been really sweet, and I enjoy that. I always have to send. I hope they get to you. MISHKA doesn't eat them.
Some of them do, but I have to tell you, now that Mishka's married, he doesn't eat at my house as often.
Okay, well, anytime you want some, just send a message through the website, and you have hot sauce from us. Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's super sweet of you, man. Appreciate that.
I know which one's your favorite, so we'll make sure it gets to you.
Yeah.
So I have to admit, this is a little self-indulgent for this. There is a hot sauce connection here. We used to make hot sauce for MISHKA when he was on tour. We were very early in our. I think we really messed up a couple of things in that. It was early on. You were the first musician we did that for. I think we've done quite a few since.
Yeah. I'm glad I was the 1.0, the guinea pig, the canary in the coal
The
mine.
test subject.
Yeah. It's not the first time I've been the test subject, and fortunately, it was just hot sauce this time.
There we go. But we had a couple of good tosses, and I think the mistake we made, the big mistake, was that we sent it to the wrong state.
Oh, that's not good.
It was, to be fair, it was when I was on tour, so you were like trying to hit a moving target. So, and that's pretty tricky. But what it did was it engendered a lot of goodwill on both sides, I think. And that's what's important,
Well, and I'll tell you, we got a lot better at that because I think we sent it to Texas, and you had already left by the time it got there. But a few years later, when we did the Alton Brown sauce for his tour, we had to send a pallet to meet him on his tour, and we nailed it. So apparently that was just practice.
Yeah, I feel like you guys have blown up since way back when.
It doesn't feel as much like it should. We've blown up like a lot more to do, but we're doing a lot better. Yeah, it's great. I mean, we've come a long way. Zach and I started at the same time.
Oh wow! It's funny. I have. Go ahead.
I was going to say we navigated the website, the FDA website together, trying to figure that crap out.
So much fun.
I was just looking at my
With love.
my hot sauce library that I have now, which is a ton of Spike stuff. And then when I thought Zach, for a minute there, it seemed like Zach was going to go out of business. So we were just sort of buying as much of everything as we could because it was the last gasp. And it's cool to have, it's like a liquor cabinet except with hot sauce.
Yeah.
Because
Remember, he doesn't drink.
Yeah. Yes. I don't drink alcohol. I'll drink hot sauce if I have to. But it made me think to when I was just so broke that the only thing that I had was red pepper flakes. Because I found that was the cheapest, most reliable source of heat you could get.
The little package you'd steal from Domino's?
Well, that too, but also like the big Costco container, you know. Just put it on everything.
Yeah.
It's a sign that you've made it, that you now have a hot sauce collection.
Yeah.
And to be fair, Zach quits like at least. I used to quit at least once a week, but now I'm only quitting like once a month. So
Progress.
And
progress,
I've gotten so much great equipment from that.
We're about to get some more.
Uh-oh. I don't want to hear that. I want to stick around.
I'm so fucking tired of it, man. Honestly.
I need equipment. I need equipment, Zach. So just, let me know.
There you go.
What kind of equipment you want?
Well,
Maybe we can work something out.
I have a grant that I was supposed to get, and we know how grants are going these days. So.
Yeah. Anyway.
Solution. Do you have the hottest sauce that looks like ketchup?
Who?
What? Who?
Zach, I think that would be you, Zach. That's your realm.
Claire's got some shit that's hotter than stuff
I've got really hot stuff, but nothing like ketchup.
Oh, she's probably talking about the piri piri.
I think she's talking about the piri piri.
The piri piri is pretty hot.
Send it to the White House.
No.
Yeah. I don't think I'd want some background shot of that existing.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Probably be anyway. I'm just gonna shut the fuck up because
So okay,
anyway.
Zach, you want to ask your question?
What question? Well, I don't have a fucking question.
My dog
Hey,
loves
Mishka,
when people
how
laugh.
is it that we live like 2 hours away from each other and we have yet to like have coffee, seeing how you pass by Tucson quite regularly?
because we're both sober addicts, and when I'm not having a bad day, you're having a bad day.
No bad days, man.
There have been so many times where I was like, also like, having spent so much of my life on the road, I'm like so sick of driving. Like if I could never drive anywhere ever again, that would be fine. And usually I'm like bombing down to Bisbee, and so it's like, do I just do this whole thing straight through and just get there and get it over with, or do I stop off and see people? And 9 times out of 10, I'm like, fuck it, just cannonball run,
So I didn't know you were still going to Bisbee.
Yeah, I mean, my mom and I bought a house down there spring of 2020. We love Bisbee, and I was like, Mom, you got to come down and see this place, and maybe we'll think about like finding a cute place down here or something. They have the little miners' shacks and shit like that. Yeah. And then the first day we walked out, and there was like an older guy hammering a for sale by owner sign into his front yard, and by the end of the day, I'd made like a handshake deal with him to buy the house. And so we have that place down there now. So I still run down there every once in a while to see friends. But then like I got to check in on the house and stuff.
Those still the same friends that we sent hot sauce to before?
Possibly, yeah. Still really close with Joby, who used to do the celebrity death pool.
Got it. Okay.
And and I mean, also like, Bisbee's a small town. You go down there enough, you get to meet a ton of different people down there, and it's a cool place to kill a weekend or a long weekend or whatever.
Yeah. So, funny story, back in the day when I took Dana to Bisbee for her first time as an adult, she fell in love, and we were looking for places for sale. We found a house up on Opera Drive. It was like $80,000 for 3,000 square feet, and we're this close to buying it. That house today is now worth like $500,000. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
The decisions we pass on, and then
we just
compared to the ones we make.
We didn't have the credit, dude. We didn't. You know what I mean? Yeah. We just didn't. So is what.
So
it is.
Hot sauce history. That's the question I was talking about.
I thought this was not scripted and it was kind of free for all.
Well, we know they've got a hot sauce history. Everybody has a hot sauce history.
I mean, I'm sure it's a former addict found hot sauce, got an endorphin dump, realized I get high off hot sauce, and that's where we're at. No offense.
Flavor Balance Heat is brought to you by High Desert Sauce Co. out of Tucson, Arizona. Zach is the owner and creative mind behind High Desert Sauce Co.'s hot sauces. He says, at High Desert Sauce Co. we make sauces that we love. The balance of bold heat and fresh flavor is the heart of our philosophy. We keep it simple by using the best ingredients we can get our hands on and letting the natural flavors run the show. High Desert Sauce Co. Just the good stuff. Visit High Desert at hdsauceco.com.
It's funny. I was thinking back about like how my taste has evolved, or like what I liked back in the day and what I like now. And when I was a kid, we lived in Los Alamos, New Mexico. So we got into the like Hatch green chili there, and then when I really started getting into like super hot food is when I was like 19, 20, 21, just sort of like penniless and scraping to survive. And we had a friend in St. John in the Virgin Islands who had been a civil rights activist in the 60s. And so there would be like 10 of them living in one house. And they were all poor. And one of the things that he discovered, which he shared with me, is that like when he was making food for everybody in the house, if he made it too hot for other people to eat, there would be more for him to eat.
Smart.
And that's what I started doing when I was living with like, 4 other, teenage alcoholics in some Bukowski-esque flop house, And so that's sort of how I got rolling.
How about you, Elaine?
Well, I had to ease into it because I'm not a huge fan of hot sauces. The ones I like of yours are the more fruity ones. Anything that resembles HP sauce, which we get in Canada, is a win. Not A1 sauce. Let me make that clear. So your Caribbean, pineapple, mango.
Yeah.
Banana.
Which is now the Pirates, but it's basically the same thing. One difference, one
exactly.
ingredient.
So I don't like to destroy the taste of the food. I like to accentuate it.
Awesome. And I forgot to mention, Claire, being right next to Canada, and your husband is Canadian.
Is Canadian, Quebecois.
Mm-hmm.
Are you from Canada?
One of the original founding families of Canada.
Wow. Where in Canada?
They came to Quebec from France, but I grew up in Saskatchewan.
Oh, okay. Nice.
She comes from a family of 17 children.
Wow.
She says founding. She means founding.
Authentic Canadian.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's amazing.
I don't know much of Canada besides Quebec. I go up there all the time with my husband, and
that's a wonderful province.
Yeah. That's really, it's great up there.
Our history is deep in Quebec.
Absolutely, and it sucks to see the friendship that we have with Canada falling apart right now.
Yeah.
Well, Canada will still be Canada.
Well, and the amount of Canadian pride is right now that's happening is amazing, and I just love this. Like, there's this threat, and Canadians are just bonding together and rejoicing over it, and they're and coming together, and I'm like, gosh, must be nice.
Yeah.
Like,
do not disagree. 10 out of 10.
You probably don't find that much hot sauce in Quebec, correct?
It's growing. It is absolutely growing. Yeah, there's a much higher hot sauce consuming population up in Canada than there used to be. I know Heartbeat is up in Thunder Bay, and then I know, since everything that's been going on politically, everybody is just very Quebec very Canada focused. And so I know Chili Chili's is one of the big hot sauce shops up there, and they've got like a Canada section and that they're expanding and really, celebrating the Canadian makers up there. So yeah, it's growing.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember. I got some sauce from, as a matter of fact, I'm going to go with the theme, but I got some from Hurtberry Farms recently. Nice. But they're Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
Claire, where are you located? You're up north?
In Vermont. In Vermont.
Oh, okay, awesome.
In Montpelier.
I love Vermont.
Yeah, me too. It's great.
There was a guy who used to put on a race called the Death Race in Vermont, and it was a 500-mile race. It was it was a 10-mile loop up and down this mountain that you did 50 times.
Oh my gosh.
And I didn't run that race. I went to go and crew a buddy who was doing the 100-mile version or something like that.
A 10-mile loop, that's got to be like Mount Mansfield going across the ridge of it or something. I can't think of any. I mean, there's some if you really try hard that is like 5 miles from the bottom to the top.
There was I know that there was like a lot of weaving and switchbacks and stuff, but yeah, it was bananas.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Well, my dad's a horseback rider, and there's a Tevis race out in California. It's a ultra marathon type race, but it's so I guess it's like 100 miles, and there's a horse version of the Tevis and a person version of the Tevis.
They do the same thing in Vermont.
There is now? I don't even know about this.
I mean, it was maybe 10 years ago. I don't know if they still do it, but it's the Vermont 100. It's a 100-mile race. And there's a horse version and a human version.
That's really cool. That's really cool. I love horseback riding, and I used to do it a lot, and I haven't done it since I moved to Vermont. But it is wonderful.
That's because you own a business.
Yeah, well, and my husband's also terrified of horses, so there's been real no like push to be like, let's teach the kids to be into horses. And I mean, there's plenty of horses around here. Although I can't particularly think of like, maybe some of it is that there are stables around here in Vermont, but they cater mostly to like the tourist New York, Connecticut sort of population more than the local population. There is this kind of like other world in Vermont that just doesn't exist for the locals. Like there's whole summer camps and stuff like that like they just don't even show up on my radar. Nobody I know does them. They cost a whole lot of money. They don't advertise to locals. So there's this like whole other world that I'm not even aware of sometimes.
We moved to Idaho. I think it's been, we left for about 5 years, but we came back. We've been here coming up on 8 years back. And I've owned a business the entire time. I have not seen Idaho. Like,
yeah,
everybody goes, oh, what about this place? What about that place? I'm like I should know, but I haven't done anything. Yeah. Although I do still want to get you up here. I think there's a running trail here, Mishka, that like you would absolutely love.
My sister's in Pocatello, Idaho, and she's been like tearing it up. She just turned 50 this year. Let me throw that out there because she's older than I am. Everybody always makes that mistake, but no, she's the old one. But she started doing ultra marathons in the last year or so. And then she pulled in, she had, 2 or 3 age group wins last year in Idaho.
Awesome.
So I may still make it up there. In maybe like May or June of this year, I have a couple of things that I'm working on that are wrapping up. And I'd love to, load my dog and my wife into the car and drive up through Pocatello and Idaho up to visit a friend in Montana.
Oh, yeah.
You
probably won't be, and you'd have to, because we're on kind of the other side. So, but if you ever get the chance and you're out this way, I mean, there's always a couch to crash on or anything like that. Now you got a wife, it's not the same anymore. So that's actually a good thing.
It makes it trickier. Yeah.
That's actually a good thing. We're in Moscow, Idaho. Right near the border of Washington.
I know where it is, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Almost
it's made
northern.
the news a few times.
Yeah, we're not real happy about any of it. But yeah, and it's actually a wonderful town. It's an artist community. We have the jazz festival here every year, which is, even though it's a jazz festival, sorry. But it's a really the nicest place I've ever lived. We call it home. It's just, we're not going anywhere else. I've lived all over the place and I'm done.
Yeah, that's great.
But we have a running trail that goes from Troy, which is, about 10 miles out, all the way through Moscow into Washington. So it's, I think, maybe all the way, maybe 20 to 30 miles of running trail.
Idaho is really beautiful, like just incredible trails there. I mean, like if you enjoy the outdoors, there's something there for you, whether it's fishing, hiking, running, biking, kayaking. Yeah, it's beautiful up there. Also, it's too cold.
Yeah, there is that. This winter's not been bad at all. We had, I think, a week of snow, and that's been it. So I'll take it.
That's not living in the East.
Yeah.
True.
Flavor Balance Heat, the podcast for hot sauce lovers and makers, is brought to you by Irish Spike's unique hot sauces and Vandal pepper sauces. I'm Spike, the owner and executive saucier. Our sauces are handmade in the Pacific Northwest using the best possible ingredient. We believe that hot sauce equates to a balance of sensational heat coupled with a robust and complex flavor profile. Live your hottest life with Irish Spikes. Irish Spike's unique hot sauces and Vandal pepper sauces are available at saucecult.com.
Yeah.
So now back to hot sauce. We do need to kind of keep it on. So do you have any hot sauce hot takes?
Yeah. I don't know how much of these will be new. Tabasco is trash. That's where it belongs. If you go to a restaurant and they have Tabasco on the table, put it in the trash. Do a favor for the next person who's coming, and so that there's not Tabasco there. It's not food. I guess my other hot take is if you're making the like insane super like the Carolina Reapers and ghost peppers and the stuff that like makes your pee burn, like keep that in. Again, that's also not food. Like keep that in your frat house. You know, I love hot sauce and I love hot food, but there's a limit, man. I'm sort of, I don't know, I've gotten like, I'm cranky about everything, but I'm also cranky about hot sauce. And I definitely like things that have death in the title. I don't really mess with anymore, you know?
Yeah.
It sounded like someone's hitting their midlife crisis and sounded like a grumpy old man. Hey, you kids, get off my lawn. But you live in Phoenix, so it's, hey, you kids, get off my rocks. You don't have a fucking lawn.
I am balls deep in my midlife crisis.
Literally. So, Elaine, do you have any hot sauce hot takes? Things you don't care for?
Like he said, the ones that are so hot that you know your tears are diluting your meal. Your eyes are burning, your nose is burning, and eventually your butt is burning. No. Not nice. Like I said, I like the fruitier ones that have a flavor that you can identify.
You know, I don't know if I've ever talked about this on the podcast, which is surprising because it's a big thing for me. But when we put posts up, I don't know about you guys. I don't know how you handle this. But what do you do when you get somebody that posts something about like, oh, that's going to be a butt burner or something on? I delete them because I don't want anything having to do with that on my social media. It's a food. I don't want. But Claire, do you have that? Like you've obviously.
Well,
I don't think I get that much of that. Like, I mean, every once in a while I get a post that I'm kind of like, meh. And I usually just leave it. I really try hard not to delete things unless it's like
I don't like make a thing.
Yeah, but I mean, like even if something's really offensive, I'll usually respond to it or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't really, but I don't get a lot of comments like that. It's usually just like, yeah, that sounds good. Like those are the comments that I get, not scatological ones.
Speaking of this week so Claire's on Hot Ones right now, and the comment this week was, wow, that was kind of cool. Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. He said like, he was like, wow, that's a good one. It's got range. I think that was his words.
Well, and then he had something to say about the name Butterfly Bakery, and I don't remember what it was now.
He said, you wouldn't think a butterfly would be so blazingly delightful.
Yes.
Now that line, blazingly delightful, is from our label. That was not him.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
Describing it as blazingly delightful. But people can think that. That's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. I forgot that it was on the bottle, but I was like, all right, there's a quote to put up.
Yeah. No, I've got it clipped. It's going up.
You can't pay for press like that to have Bill Murray say that your hot sauce has range.
Right? Well, I mean, seriously,
that's killer.
The episode, he didn't flinch the entire. He had all of them and just didn't make a face. And for DeBomb, he said, "Oh, that one hits the back of the throat." That's all he did.
I was stunned.
Well, and then for Last Dab, he had Pete Davidson with him on there, and Pete Davidson, he was just dying. He was crying, and he was like, I don't know why I thought it would be better this time. It was really great. and so Bill Murray just like gave him a hug and patted his head.
It was really sweet. I can't wait to see that movie. This is due out in like 4 weeks, so if you haven't seen it by now, it probably is out of the theaters. But you know.
My wife is Venezuelan, and the first time that we went to get food together, I'm, inbred, white bread, brain dead. I know that like, Latin America is composed of more than Mexico, but in my brain, I was like, all Latin American people like spicy food. So we went to a Mexican restaurant, and she was like, "Oh, is the salsa hot?" And I was like, "No, it's like, the gringo salsa that they give you." And what I didn't realize is that Venezuela is not a culture of spicy foods and hot sauce and stuff like that. Their spiciest thing is like cheese. So there have been many times when I was like, cooking for us, where I was like, "Oh, I gotta make 2 batches of this. I gotta make the one for kids and then the one for me."
Yeah, I used to have to cut all the veins off all the jalapenos just so my kids and I get at least some flavor of heat. Not heat, but
I just had a gigantic win with my children. I put black pepper in their eggs yesterday. And they accepted it.
Was it
baby steps. Goddamn baby steps.
Yep.
Was it accepted without comment, or they were like, the eggs are good?
No,
too?
they actually saw me put it in, and then they ate it, and they love the eggs. They really like my eggs. And I commented at the end of the meal, I was like, "Remember, we put some black pepper in that." And then my oldest kind of gave me a dirty look, and she was like, "I don't like being wrong."
That's great.
So little wins. We'll get there. My husband's a huge chili head, and unfortunately both kids kind of got burned out at a young age, and now we're slowly creeping our way back.
Neither of my kids are at all, like not even close. So
we started putting smoked paprika in things to just get the pepper flavor. So we're going to meet the black pepper and the smoked paprika. They're going to meet, and it's going to be amazing.
It's so funny because this conversation, it's like the opposite of most of the conversations I have with my friends, where they're like, "Oh my God, I really hope my kids don't become a drug addict like I was, or be an alcoholic like I was." And you guys are like, "Yeah, we're sneaking it into their food."
Yeah. Well, I mean, just being able to when I was growing up, poblanos are like the way that other people use green bell peppers, we would use poblanos. Yeah. And obviously that's not like super hot, but it just meant that every dish had like a little bit of heat. And that was like we started almost every dish with onions and poblanos. And I miss that. Really miss that.
Just start doing it. Just tell them it's green bell peppers. What the fuck they gonna know?
They do not like any peppers of any kind. Even
not
red
even
bell peppers. Not even red bell peppers. They don't like the bitterness. I know.
What?
I know.
Bell peppers are not bitter. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Maybe the green ones are a little like earthy, but red bell peppers aren't bitter.
It's a battle that we have fought many times, and we're decided to take a more friendly approach and kind of slowly.
I don't know how you grew up. I grew up, you eat what I fucking make or you go hungry. You know what I mean? Like maybe you need to implement some of that in your life.
There were a lot of tears on everybody's part. And so we just kind of scaled back expectations. We're working it back. So
ship them off to Zach for a week.
There you go.
Like boot camp.
Well, so the other thing too is that the pandemic really changed a lot of things.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of dietary things. Like my kids' dietary palates have opened up since they started eating at friends' houses, but they didn't eat at friends' houses for 4 years. For half their life, they didn't eat at friends' houses. So that's the other thing is everybody's house eats a little differently. And when you eat at other people's houses, you're like, "Oh, hey, my friend likes this. I like it too." And when you're just all at home, it is different. So we're getting there. A little bit of time. I'm Claire George. I own Butterfly Bakery of Vermont. We make hot sauce, mustard, cookies, and granola, and 100% of our products are made with Vermont ingredients. The thing that I hear most often from people is that my hot sauce tastes like the peppers that are in it. We do really simple recipes that don't get too crazy and nitpicky, just to really accentuate the flavor of the peppers that are in there. The unique thing about our hot sauces is how much we feature the farm and the relationship with the farm and really bring the terroir of Vermont to our hot sauces. I am pretty sure I am the #1 purchaser of Vermont-grown chili peppers. I would love it if there would be a legitimate pepper market in Vermont where people would know Vermont for its peppers. We're all better for supporting each other. And I think that part really shows itself with the collaborations that I do with the other businesses and the other farms, that I love working together and coming up with new ideas and presenting each other with new challenges. And I think overall that's the attitude here. And I absolutely love it because that's my attitude. I try to live my life with love. The ingredients that I use, I would say that my values are reflected in that I use ingredients that, again, feel good, feel loving, feel supportive. The relationship with the farmer was how it all began. If I changed the reason for it being, if I went out and bought some commodity peppers, it might not be as good.
You can find Butterfly Bakery of Vermont hot sauce, mustard, granola, and cookies at butterflybakeryvt.com. Alton just came out with his book, and there's a whole chapter on that. He talks about it. He talked about it on a post the other day about like making food. I think he said you make food for yourself and for them, but you don't tell them it's for them. You say, that you can't have any of this. This is for adults. And then they end up wanting it. And he goes into much more detail, but I thought it was pretty well done the way he said that. But it's still manipulation.
Well, and we have tried that. And my kids are like, okay, cool. So in other words, they're as smart as you. It really, the spicy food we've started to be able to build up with junk food. So like spicy chips and stuff like that. That's gotten them into spicy food. Maya has a little bit of a tolerance that, for spicy junk food. It's, I don't know. Every kid is different, and this is not how I expected my kids to eat. But it's gotten better. So it is what it is. I didn't like spicy stuff. My dad made everything spicy. I didn't at first, but then because of him, and it's one of the reasons why our logo is, I did it in a style of, his favorite band was Oingo Boingo. And so I kind of did it in their kind of color scheme. Because of him, because he inspired me to kind of get into spicier food. But he would make chili. My mom wouldn't eat it. I would dabble with it. And then finally, I was at his friend's house gobbling pickled jalapenos while we watched football. So,
Spike, do you make any sauces that have a more predominantly vinegar flavor?
Yes. Yeah, I've got, I don't know if did I send the Louisiana sauce?
I don't know.
I should have.
I'll check and see. Like I said, I actually have
supply.
A hot sauce library now, thanks to you guys. So,
and the vinegar. So the Louisiana sauce it's a Louisiana sauce, but we added fish sauce and we added some like substantial minced garlic, things like that. So it's got more body to it than a Louisiana. Join us next week for part 2 of this episode. This has been a Spike Mind Media production.